Hey, before we get started, I just want to tell you a couple of quick resources that we have here at Producer in Progress. And the first one is our Producer in Progress checklist. This is a comprehensive checklist that goes through all the steps of pre-production. And this pre-production checklist syncs with another sheet that's a calendar. You can see everything in real time and in a one big view on your calendar where everything is just kind of concise and succinct and be able to see what's going on there. We have a budget top sheet on this. It's a very, very cool resource, and I highly recommend that you go check it out. The link for that is down below. Also, we have a newsletter that we're starting, and I have a free resource for you as an incentive to sign up for the newsletter. It's a book that I wrote, and it's about the 10 mistakes that I see beginning filmmakers make. So this is I think a very valuable resource, not just to point out mistakes that I've seen along the way, but to show you how you can avoid them in the future as well. So check out the links below. I hope these resources can be of help for you as you continue on your filmmaking journey. We're going to talk today about writers and securing the rights to the script. But before we do, I just wanted to touch base real quick on writers and kind of what they mean to me. So first of all, I wish I was a writer. I wish that I could write down in a cohesive way in a script format what I want to say and the story that I want to bring to audiences. Although I can come up with the stories, and I feel like I'm very good at that, translating that to the script and then to the screen is not my forte. So I have a lot of respect for writers who in Hollywood have been very traditionally undervalued. And I would even say that they've been taken advantage of a lot of times. So it's a profession that's near and dear to my heart. And the way that I do business out here, the way that I choose to work with people is to believe that everybody has an intrinsic value. Everybody has something to offer. Everybody is valuable in their own way. So because I choose to treat people that way, writers are not somebody that I look to take advantage of. They're somebody who I look to partner with. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that as I share how I hired the writer that is currently writing one of my films. I want to share that story with you so that you can understand what I mean when I say that I value writers. That being said, I want to get into 4 questions that I believe are on the minds of filmmakers all over the place. Maybe not understanding about rights, maybe not understanding how the relationship between the writer and the producer and the director all work. And so I want to dive into the 4 most common questions that I've found and give you the answers as I understand them to be. Before I do that, I will say I'm not a lawyer. I don't know very much about legal anything. So please don't take this as legal advice. If you really want some legal advice, go hire a lawyer. It's going to be the best money you've ever spent to have that peace of mind and assurance that what you're doing is the correct thing. Okay, let's get into it. Question number 1, what's the difference between buying and optioning a script? Well, when you option a script, it's like renting the script. You're paying a fee for a certain period of time, and in that time, you have the exclusive rights to develop and produce that film. Now, if at the end of that time you choose to exercise the option, then you will pay the price of the agreed upon price of the script to the writer. If you don't choose to exercise that option, then all the rights will go back to the writer and you lose your option fee. Buying, on the other hand, is a full transfer of ownership rights. And what this means is that it's just like buying a car. It means that you own it outright. Nobody can take it away from you. It is yours as long as you pay the full price for it. So that's buying a script outright. So when is the time that you might need each of those? Let's start with optioning. So when you option a script, the reason that you would option a script, and it's done a lot in indie film, is because it's a lot less risk for the producer and the filmmaker. The reason is because they can pay a small nominal fee, and option fees can range from anywhere from free to, $5,000 or whatever the amount can be. There really is no set limit on it. But there's less risk there because you're paying for a certain period of time, which means at the end of that time, if you don't have the money, all you're out is your option fee. You're not out the whole cost of the script. So you want to option a script when you don't have the financing. when you don't have any money and you need to have time to develop the script, to have time to attach actors and find the financing and get distribution interest, those are when you want to option a script, making sure that you fulfill your obligation to pay for it at the end of that option period. When you want to buy a script, you want to buy a script when you have all of the financing in place, when you are ready for production and ready to go, and that's when you just want to buy it outright and go from there. So costs. What does it cost to option a script and to buy a script? To option a script, it's usually around 10% of the purchase price for the first year. To buy a script, you're looking at around 2 to 5% of the film's budget that will be paid to the writer, and you can offer back-end points if you want. Those are usually a little bit nominal. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. Question number 2. How do I protect my script from being stolen, and do I need to copyright and register it? Those are all amazing, great questions, and I understand that that's a primal fear of any artist, is to have your work stolen. And honestly, I've had some work stolen from me before, some music stolen from me, and I know firsthand the pain and the betrayal that causes. So let's get a couple of things straight. First of all, the moment you write that script, it is copyrighted. Under U.S. law, it is legally copyrighted. And this copyright protects the expression of your idea, such as the specific dialogue, the plot, scene settings, different things like that. Now, registering your copyright with the Library of Congress is what you really need to do to legally protect yourself. It's only like $65 online. It's not very expensive, and it is the only legal way to protect yourself. It creates a public record, and this is what you need in order to sue somebody for copyright infringement. You're going to have it registered with the Library of Congress. Now, some people think about registering with the WGA and ask if that's the same thing. The answer is no, it's not. The WGA registration is more like a timestamp. Back in the day, people would mail themselves certified copies of whatever it is that they wrote, of a song lyrics or of a screenplay or a short story. They'd mail it to themselves, and that would act as a timestamp. But now it doesn't really hold up in court so much. So the WGA registration kind of took the place of that. This is not a legal copyright registration. That still has to be done through the Library of Congress. What it does do is show that you have written the script on this particular day and time. Another thing that I've seen a lot of is writers and other producers are requesting NDAs from people. But the truth is, this is not done in Hollywood. This is very, very amateurish. It kills your pitch right off the bat. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Ideas are not copyrightable anyways. You can't copyright the idea of something, only the expression of that idea. So as far as theft goes, here's my personal opinion on the matter. Ideas are cheap. Execution is what matters. Anybody can come up with an idea, but it's how you put it on screen. It's how you execute the idea that really matters and makes the art. And there are going to be similar ideas out there, and this is not theft. Right? There's multiple heist movies where the heist goes wrong. There's multiple love stories where people meet under serendipitous circumstances. There's multiple action movies where somebody close to the protagonist gets killed, and so they go on a revenge rampage through downtown New York. And these things are not uncommon themes and uncommon plots and stories and ideas, but the execution of them is what counts, because actual theft is an exact replication of a portion or all of your work. So they would have to take some actual dialogue from your script, an actual plot point written like you've written it from your script. That's what constitutes theft. Theft is very hard to prove, but the truth is, ideas are cheap. Execution is what matters. So if you have a great idea, a winning idea, go out there, put it on paper, do it the best you possibly can. All right, question number 3. What is work for hire, and how does it affect who owns the script? This is a great question, and this is how I'm working with a writer who's currently writing on one of the scripts that I'm developing. So what is work for hire? Work for hire is basically me as the producer coming to another writer and saying, I would like you to take my idea, my story, my concept, and put it in script form for me. This is a unique distinction as the writer did not come up with this idea. Therefore, the IP, the intellectual property, belongs to me. So the script would belong to me. But there's certain criteria in order to make this legally binding. And the biggest one is that it has to be in writing. You have to have an agreement that states specifically that this writer is writing this project as a work for hire project. If you don't put that in writing, a handshake doesn't do it. Being nice and saying we'll figure it out later doesn't work. It has to be specifically in writing. This is for work for hire. If you don't do that, then the writer owns the copyright by default. That's the law. So there's a difference between work for hire and writing on spec. A writing on spec, a writer will usually take their own ideas, their own concepts. Sometimes it'll be derivative from someone else's just to have a writing sample. But if it's something that they want to sell, then it's an original idea by the writer that they then own the rights to in order to go out and sell. The difference between that and work for hire is work for hire, the writer never owns the rights. The writer is writing and executing the vision of the person who owns the rights, which is the producer. So as I alluded to earlier, this is how my relationship with the writer who's currently working on one of my scripts started. Is I found this writer, I talked to her, and she sent me some writing samples, and one of them was just hilarious. And I'm not a big laugh out loud kind of person, but I honestly chuckled a little bit when I saw and read the script. It was just amazing. The character development was fantastic. In just 3 pages, I fell in love with this character and what the story could be. So I got a hold of this writer, and I asked her if she'd be interested in hearing about my project. We got on a Zoom call. I told her all about my project, and she loved it. She could visualize so many different things about it, and she's even going to be adding a lot of her own creativity to it. So I structured it in a way that values her as a writer, but also recognizes the contribution that she's going to be making to the film as well. So here's how we worked it out. It's a deferred payment based on the budget of the film. Whatever that budget ends up being, she's going to be getting 5% of that, which is the high end of the industry standard, but still standard. Now, what I also did is to recognize her creative contribution to the script is to give her points on the back end. And I decided to give her 15 points on the back end, which is pretty hefty, but I'm hoping she'll stay on as a producer, and I'm hoping that she'll help see this project all the way through to completion. And again, this goes to show that I just value her as a writer. I value writers and the contribution they make, because the truth is there is no film industry, there is no film, there is no project, there is no anything without the screenplay. And the scriptwriter is so important as they come up with those screenplays, they come up with those ideas, they execute the vision of the ones who have the ideas, and they bring it to life in its real raw form. Last one, question number 4. What is chain of title? So chain of title is essentially a trail of paperwork that shows who owns what in the film. This is done as far as music rights and archival rights and different things like that. But for our purposes right now, we're just going to be talking about it in writing rights. So you have to have a chain of title to prove that you have the legal authority to produce, sell, distribute this film. If you don't have that, you're not going to get distribution. If you don't have that, you're not going to get E&O insurance. If you don't have it, your film can get pulled from film festivals and distribution, and you can even get sued by investors. It's a huge liability that you don't want. So again, don't rely on a handshake. Don't rely on we'll figure this out later. Get chain of title. Get it in writing. Make sure you have the rights that you need in order to be able to make this movie. I hope that you found something in this video today that was valuable to you. The truth is, navigating the script and the rights is a very complicated process, and I always recommend talking to a lawyer. But if you'd like to reach out to me for any advice, I'd be happy to talk with you about that. Leave a comment below, and we can start a conversation about this topic. But I can't stress this enough. Take care of your writers. Make sure that they know that they're valued. Make sure that they know that they're important, and make sure that they know that without them, we have nothing.